Okay, welcome to Uprising, our third Uprising show. And as you'll probably know by now, we only get 6 segments, so we have to use our slots very wisely. There's very little TV exposure at the moment. We've lost Monday Nitro, and we've got Showdown on Saturday where we have 11 segments, and we have Uprising, and we really need. We sent out a promo tape to ABC Network, and we're really hoping we can get Nitro back for next month. But this is the aftermath to Showdown, which was a few nights ago. Sorry, not Showdown, Genesis, for first pay-per-view of the year, which was quite a success overall. The only slight regret I have is not having Hogan and Jarrett, their feud ending after the Royal Rumble match. But it's still got a good rating overall, and we know that our next world title feud is going to be Curt Hennig, who won the Royal Rumble against Hulk Hogan for new World Heavyweight Champion. And that's how this show is going to end. There's going to be a confrontation. Curt Hennig is going to challenge Hulk Hogan. He's going to come out and say, look, I won the Royal Rumble. I want a shot at your world title at Super Brawl Revenge, which is where the match will take place. So between now and then there's going to be build-up, although it's going to be limited build-up with the TV slots we get. So we've got 3 matches, 3 segments. We've got another feud starting. Jeff Jarrett and Chris Candido have had some good matches together. Jeff Jarrett's no longer world champion. I think this will be a good feud, and it could really do Chris Candido a lot of good. We've got to get this out of our minds that the cruiserweights shouldn't be in the main event status. The future of WCW obviously is going to be not just for cruiserweights, but they are going to be a big part of it. And I'm talking cruiserweights holding the world title. So Jeff Jarrett, Chris Candido is a sign of that. Before that, we've got Jushin Liger and Juventud Guerrera teaming up to beat Evan Karagias in his first match since coming back from the development territory, and teaming up with his old mate Jamie Noble. Shane Douglas, we want his feud with Lance Storm to end very soon for the US title. It's dragged on a little bit now. Lance Storm's not happy, so I'm certainly considering having Shane Douglas win the belt. I'm not too sure though, because Lance Storm is slightly more over at the moment, and we do want. I did have plans for him in main event status, but if he's not happy, maybe that will not work. The opening bout, Chuck Palumbo is going to beat Big Vito as well. Obviously, Big Vito still feuding with Canyon, so let's see how this goes. Good opening match between the two. We can't afford any segments on these. We can't afford any poor segments in these 6 segment shows because we've got so little to work with. Shane Douglas cutting his interview there. That went well. Another good cruiserweight match. You want to get at least one cruiserweight match on these shows. Jushin Thunder Liger and Juventud Guerrera, they've been sluggish for a bit now. They're not happy for whatever reason, which is disappointing. Jeff Jarrett backstage. Chris Candido attacks from behind. Jeff Jarrett lost over this from this. Disappointing, but it starts that feud between Jeff Jarrett and Chris Candido. The last match of the night, Scott Steiner, Lash LeRoux, that got a very good score, and I am very tempted to get these two guys feuding together, which would mean Lash LeRoux dropping his cruiserweight title. So I think we're going to do that. Certainly, that match is an indication. Lash LeRoux and Scott Steiner, they're both 2 of the top 4 guys. They're in the top 5 in the company in terms of overness. So there we go. And look at that, 96%. Fantastic way to end the show. Hulk Hogan's in the ring. Hennig comes out, challenges him to a match at Super Brawl Revenge. The challenge is accepted. Fantastic stuff, and a very good overall rating of 80%. Okay, 2.09, good rating. Okay, yeah, I didn't think it would be because Noble is, to be fair, a lot more over than Courageous at the moment. let's do that now. Disappointing, but Evan Courageous just isn't over, and you can't blame Noble for saying that. So let's make it inactive. Okay. What were we going to do? We're going to make Scott Steiner and Lash LeRoux feud, weren't we? Scott Steiner, Lash LeRoux. There we go. 100. That should be one of our major feuds, and it will be promoted to major once Storm and Douglas ends, and it's still not ready to be ended. Surely soon, it's bound to be ended. We'll get him appearing a couple of times on Showdown, and then after that, we should at the next Uprising have the end to this feud between the two for the US title. Obviously, it's working towards a Lance Storm win. I think it would damage Storm too much to have Douglas win the US title at this stage after the amount of battles he's won. But do I completely bury Lance Storm? He's unhappy anyway. No, I still have a bit of hope for Lance Storm. Kevin Nash went down to pretty much nothing, and he's back into the 50s now, so it is doable. He's at no % morale. That's not good. Okay. Rey Mysterio's at 4%. That's not great. I mean, maybe Shane Douglas is going to have to win, isn't he? It's just let's see how over they are before we finish. Lance Storm's still 85. What about Shane Douglas? He's actually the same. So he's the same at the moment. Yeah, okay. We've got we're to the 19th of January already, and that's because we've lost one of our TV shows. They got 4.8 for SmackDown. Good for them. Canyon Vito, that's ready to be ended, so that can be ended on Showdown tonight. So we'll end the show here, and we'll be back for another episode, which will cover Showdown very shortly.